Hello, everyone, and welcome back to one of these classic live streams. This particular live stream is going to be pretty exciting tonight because we're going to be operating on VATSIM. I was poking around the earlier trying to find a really cool VATSIM stream that we could kind of sneak our way into without like scaring anybody or getting a little too stressful for those of you who are relatively new to it. And I managed to locate one that basically they're doing Atlanta to Charlotte. And I said, wow, that sounds really stressful. I don't feel like flying into Atlanta, both in the real world as well as in the simulator here. So instead, we're located way out here. This is Jackson County Airport. It's a 24 Alpha for those of you who are going to be joining us for this evening. This is a really cool airport because it's deep within Appalachia. You got some really beautiful clouds, and of course, unfortunately, we have a bunch of beautiful mountains as well to make our flight kind of fun today. We're not really going to need to worry about VATSIM at all until we get a little bit closer. And like I was taking a look at my flight plan a little earlier, and I realized we might have some issues with this sort of low ceiling. So we're going to have to deviate a little bit north, cut across, get permission to dive through an airfield basically real fast, and then we'll start making our way directly to our destination, which I said is just outside of Concord. So we'll kind of see how that plays out. So first things first, let's go ahead and get this thing riding and rolling. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cruise over to my little V-Pilot here. I'm going to open that up for you so you can join it. And again, you don't need to do any of the different things I'm going to be doing here. I just thought I'd kind of share this with you folks so you can kind of see what it's like. So I'm going to go hit the connect button. There's me, Red64, and a Bonanza. It's going to do a bunch of things. It's going to give me all sorts of crazy centers. This is going to be the frequency we're going to be concentrating on. Like I said, there is an event tonight, so there's a lot of people on. But like I said, we're mostly VFR. We're not going to have to bother anybody until we get a lot closer to Charlotte, so you don't have to worry about that too much. So I'm going to go up to my flight plan real quick. I'm going to go ahead and suck it out of the server here. Press OK. Alternate. I'm not going to put one. Departure time is 2300. You can see we have 2 minutes to departure. Plenty of fuel. I've left a little note here to say, hey, this is me, just so you folks know so they don't freak out. Our cruise altitude is much too high. We're going to have to bring this down because, as you're going to see, there's a bunch of really low clouds that we have to kind of do one of these things and then go underneath them, and then we can come back up to get over the airspace, then we got to go down. But it's going to be kind of a fun time, so I think you folks will enjoy that. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and close that out. That's already been pre-filed. That is completely ready to go. Now all I have to do is go ahead and get everything else started on that end. Oh, the happy sounds. So now one of the bummers here is they didn't tell us which one of the center controllers is responsible for our quadrant. So how this usually goes is you send a message to one of them and they say, I think you meant to talk to such and such instead. And it's like, whoopsies. But we'll do the best we can with what we have. Again, for those of you who are joining us not on VATSIM, all you have to do is fire up your servers, set it to all players. Like I was mentioning a little bit earlier, we're on the West USA server today. So that gives you an opportunity to come join us. I'm on West, so I can see everybody who doesn't want to be here kind of a thing. Kind of works out. All right, let's get the rest of this aircraft all clicked up. I chose the Bonanza today because I wanted something a little bit more powerful than what we usually do, and it's going to give us plenty of performance for what we're going to need it for. Go ahead and pop the cowl flap to the middle settings. I'm going to go ahead and test my radio. All right, delightful. So now I'm going to go switch it over to the CTAF frequency for VATSIM, which is 122800. I'm just going to kind of announce my, that helps if you get the right frequency. I'm going to go ahead and announce my intentions. I don't know why this is still reversed. 12280, go flip it over to that particular position. So what we're going to do is we're going to attempt to fly direct. If the clouds get in our way, we're going to do some hanky-panky with the clouds, trying to get underneath them. And then once we pop out, we can worry about kind of the rest of the flight. So let's go ahead and let everybody know. I'm just going to take a look real quick. Wind, by the way, right now is coming mostly out of the south, but it's a relatively weak wind here, so I'm not too concerned with it as far as wind speed goes. I think when we last checked it, it was 210 at 8 knots, which means we're back taxing. Oh well. Let's do it to it. Jackson County traffic, Red 64 is back taxi, runway 33 Jackson County. While that's going, I'll get everything else all set up. Let's see, one thing we definitely want is to make sure our transponder is turned on. Otherwise, those VATSIMies, they get a little grumpy when you do stuff like that. One of the great things, like I said, is we're starting so outside of their zone and we're not flying under IFR rules that all the really big scary stuff is just a non-issue. Go ahead and check a look at the approach, make sure nobody's sneaking in. That looks pretty good. And we'll just make our way down the runway. Now, last weekend, I was actually at a really cool fly-in at a local airport, which is about 1,050 feet less than this one. And one of the most scary things I've ever seen in my life is, I swear to God, I thought that Mooney, who was coming into landing, he started doing one of these on his way down, and all of a sudden, right before he hit the ground, he dropped off the end of the runway, hit the grass right outside of the lights, bounced over the grass, and then started rolling down the runway doing one of these things, and finally managed to land it. But the scariest thing is when he hit right here the second time, I could have sworn I heard exploding plastic. So everybody at the airport all did one of these, and watch the poor guy make that landing there. And it's like, there was some wind shear that day. That wasn't a good day to go flying. All right, gotta love back taxing. Probably could have just taken off. In the real world, of course, we could be back taxing on the grass, assuming that's acceptable at this airport. The only downside to that is this is a $1 million airplane. I don't know necessarily I want to be taxing on the grass here. Another thing you're probably saying is, can we just whip this thing around in a hurry and just go half field? Yeah, probably. But again, I don't know how safe I feel about that. Now, one thing I want to do, though, is I would like to get all those frequencies I'm going to need. I'll go ahead and let everybody know once I've got them. The Atlanta Center one is 132-975. That's probably who we're going to have to talk to, but again, we'll have to see when we actually get there. 132, and we're going to do 975. And we should be all set. Delightful. So that'll be the one we'll give it a call. We'll see what they say. 99% chance. We'll call them. We'll say, you're on the wrong frequency. Call this guy instead. I'll go, sorry. We'll go ahead and get the thing rolling. Before I do that, though, I'm going to make sure all my other settings are all set. Looks good. I love it. Let's see. Do we have a little... oh, we do. We have a turnaround at this airport. Super duper. Gotta love this. This is, by the way, a very, very cool airport to take off from. Some of the stuff you get to see is a lot of mountains coming our way all at the same time. You're gonna love it. All right, we're gonna go nice and wide here. Kick the nose over. Oi! Oh, come on. You can turn much tighter than this in a Bonanza. Come on. You can do it. Good boy. Oh, it's beeping at me. Come on. This is why I really need the pedals that have the brakes on the right pedal. Thanks, Fast Ted. I appreciate you. Oh, also, by the way, welcome back. Oh, okay, I did it. Oh, I'm going to cut him off. I'll let him go by here. All right, let's do it to it. Jackson County traffic, red 64 is the red Bonanza taking off runway 15 with a east departure. Off we go. By the way, you might want to set your mixture before takeoff because it is tremendously high altitude. Well, not tremendous, but it's enough high altitude. Here we go. 65, 70, nose up. Not bad. 7.5 degrees. Wait until there's no runway underneath us. I love that little turn off for like where the hangars are. Gear up. And go ahead and pop that notch of flaps in. We're just going to hold 7.5 degrees for a moment here, and then we'll start making our turn towards where we're heading out to today. Got to get to about 100 knots here. Nice. Go ahead and back the RPM. 2,500 seems to be the magical speed. Ooh, too much. And I like it. All right, let's go pop on a couple features here to kind of get us rolling. Wait, save. Nice. Perfect. All right, we're on our way. That is such a cool one. I love this little airport. Like, could you imagine, like, this is where you take off from? Center line. All right, let's do it to it. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go pop on my little handy-dandy chart here and see if we can determine exactly who we're going to have to talk to. Like I said, we have a little while before we have to actually talk to anybody, but we want to make sure that we can figure it out kind of early here. So I'm going to go ahead and flip over this real fast. Of course, as I'm doing this, you know I'm going to fly right through the center of a cloud, so, oh well. Okay, so let's see here. We just took off from this particular position, which you can see. We're going to be cruising. This is actually an MOA, but I don't think it's active at the moment. We have one altitude restriction of 6,200 feet. So if we want to go through this, which we can, we're going to have to ask permission from air traffic control in order to do so. So we'll see how high we can get before we hit this point. If we're still over 6,200 when we get right here, we don't have to talk to anybody because we're technically uncontrolled. We cruise over this, and it looks like when we hit this spot right here is when we're going to have to actually start talking to the air traffic control folks. They have a gigantic airspace. And you can see if I zoom in all the way, here's our destination. I intentionally picked this one because it's in the way of everybody, which means when we get there, hopefully they give us some fun like doing one of these things and vectoring, going up and down and going up and down. But we'll see exactly what happens when we get on our way. Unfortunately, I still don't see what frequency I need to contact, so we'll go take a look if we can actually look this up. This is why I love this website, by the way. Let's see here. ADIS, Unicom, none of that's helpful to us. Let's go ahead and see what this one is. Try Asheville Regional. Let's see here. Any hints? Not even close. Okay, we're going to have to do this the hard way, but that's okay. If you normally flew in this region, you know exactly where we need to be heading off to. Go ahead and put that one away. I'm going to flip over to that server now. And we're just going to hang out here. Like I said, we don't have to talk to anybody until we hit that point where we have to enter into that much, much larger airspace. I'm not freaking out about it yet. Let's see here. Make sure I'm all organized. I'm nice and organized. I am lovely organized. Unfortunately, I'm looking at my window, And it looks like we might not make it before we get through that really, really large cloud there. So, oh boy, this could be interesting for us. Again, remember, we're on visual flight rules, so we're the ones responsible for traffic separation. We're responsible for not hitting clouds. We're responsible for all that. I'm actually going to level off at 6,500, which is incredibly naughty, but it's the only way I feel that I can be safe as far as not going smack into those clouds there. Normally, when you're traveling to the east, which we are, you would want to make sure that we do not travel at even altitudes. It's not good practice. Of course, those mountains aren't good practice to smack into. All right, let's see who we have tonight. Simon, welcome back. Reaper MD, welcome back. Fast Ted, I haven't seen you in a while. Welcome back. Dr. Pat, welcome back. Wax Found, I feel like we saw you a little while ago. And Ballad Jurassic, I do not remember. And Fantafoot, I did not, unless you're flying another one. Although I do know you decided to take out the Paper 28R today. Great choice. It might just be a little bit on the slow side. I feel the fact that new Stingray over here, he's probably in the event. Spin it over this way. Awarded Rhino. There goes Fast Ted zipping by him. And I believe this is somebody else who's on the event as well. All right, so now we just kind of cruise along. We'll play around with RPM just a teeny tiny bit. Nice. I'll come down here, go ahead and close up the cowl flaps. We don't have to have those open anymore.
Atlanta Center, American 1101. Can we step away for about 5 minutes?
American 1101 was approved. Report back.
Roll call.
Nice. You know, I like it how in the real life, of course, you can just go down to the bathroom and make some dinner and then come back and continue. No, you can't do that. So, like I said, we're at 6,500, which, if you remember from our little diagram earlier, we're exactly 100 feet over. Actually, I'm sorry, 300 feet over the airspace that we're about to be flying into in just a minute. One of my buddies, by the way, who I fly with all the time, we've actually seen him in a couple of videos. He did the multi-engine one. He has a terminology for mountains. He calls them cumulus granite. Simply, it's just a new form of cloud. It's a cumulus granite cloud, of course. And I always thought that was kind of a funny little comment there. All right. So, well, like I said, we'll bother them in a little bit and go ahead and call up some friendly, like I said, flight following once we get a little bit closer. All right. Just want to kind of do some mental checks here. Everything looks good. I think this is way too far zoomed in. Yeah, we'll go ahead and do that. Let's see. Take a look at the comments. Dan Young, man, so great little airport. I love airports that are just in the middle of nowhere like that. Because somebody had to pay for that. Somebody thought they had a need for it. And they built it on the side of a mountain anyway. And stuff like that just cracks me up. And one of the things you're really going to get a kick out of in this, at least I hope you do, I find this interesting, is as we transfer from Tennessee, which is, kind of over there, over to South Carolina, everything goes from this, which, almost reminds me of flying around Vietnam or something like that, to suddenly as flat as you can possibly imagine. It's just amazing what two states running into each other can have as far as variety of terrain goes. I noticed earlier in the chat tonight, somebody was mentioning that, well, how far apart is like Northampton and where they lived in England? And it was, Southampton. And they're mentioning, well, it's about this distance. And it was just kind of a fun little story if you missed it in the chat a little bit earlier. But it's the same thing in the U.S. They say, well, how does one state have 10 different climate zones? Well, the states are kind of big. It's just like anything. All right. I'm just taking a look real quick. You can see that airspace that I was mentioning a little while ago. It's just right there. But like when we checked the little diagram a little bit earlier, I'm going to look at it one more time because I don't want to be that guy that choo-choos right through something that's supposed to not be choo-chooed through. You got to imagine what that's like in the real world. Let's take another peek real fast. I believe it's 6,200. So we're at 6,500, so we're clear. By the way, there's a giant sign here that says we're supposed to be traveling at 6,800 feet, which means we're not giving enough clearance of the ground. And if you actually zoom in, you'll see one of these mountains right here is 6,214. So we're going to watch this thing pass within 300 feet of us, which, if I'm not mistaken, I believe that's what we're about to pass over right now. But it looks like I said, we can get over that pretty safely. I'm not too worried about it. All right, go ahead and throw that up there. Okay. Reset the altimeter. Oh my gosh, look at this. Well, that got close. Nice. Oh, check this out. Anybody ever do any rally driving back home? Also, why is he driving on the left side of the road? I don't know if anybody else caught that, but I thought that was kind of interesting. All right, we are safely clear of the terrain now. So now that we've gotten out of the train, we got to start. Look at this road. This is great, except they're driving in the wrong side of the road for the U.S., but I don't know. Maybe people in the south are just backwards. And again, I'm from the south, so I guess I am backwards. Oh, well. All right, let's see here. Take a look this way. So we basically need to clear this large area. Then we're going to dive down to try to get underneath those clouds. Then we'll go ahead and call up Atlanta and ask them really, really nicely to go ahead and give us some flight following to take us back.
Atlanta Center, JetBlue 97 is with you at flight level 2320.
JetBlue 97, Atlanta Center, welcome back.
I'm just listening in. Nice. All right, cool. All right, this is the relaxing part of flying. Dan Young asks, I don't have the map out, but this is part of the Appalachians. This is the southern tip of the Appalachians. Like I said, we were just coming out of like Knoxville in Tennessee. We were crossed into South Carolina. So this is like the very, very base of them. I call this the part of the Appalachians where now, I'm not going to say anything disparaging, but if anybody's seen, what's the movie? Oh my God, it's Deliverance. You're going to think about this particular region of it for that particular purpose. But like I said, where I live, the Appalachians are there too. It actually kind of choo-choos right through the middle of my state, up kind of on the left-hand side. And it's neat because it goes way, way, way up. And there's actually a trail, for those of you who are international, that takes you all the way from Boston all the way to the base of the Appalachians, way, way, way down there, basically by hiking. And it takes many, many months for you to hike. But we did part of it because I used to be in Boy Scouts and everything. And one of the cool things with it is you'd see things like somebody would put an electrical socket in the side of a tree. And it'd be like, wow, that's something I have no use for.
Atlanta Center, American 1101, sir.
American 1101, Atlanta Center, welcome back.
Hope we're on the right control. All right, how we doing here? About 33. That looks pretty good. We got a distance of about, it shouldn't be too long, about 101 nautical miles. We're doing $1.76 over the ground. And again, that's going to be about a half hour. Like I said, I try to keep these about 33. Beldreska, welcome from Perth, Western Australia. Excellent. I've never actually been to Western Australia. I've only been over to the east side. I've done Melbourne, and I've also gone up to Brisbane and stuff like that. Ever done the Blue Ridge Parkway across the Appalachians? It's brilliant. I'm not sure what that is, Simon. Could you tell us just a little bit about it? Had to go with the red one today. Also, one thing I am going to check, though, while we're taking a look here, is I'm just going to confirm that I am inside of his region. I'll give him a call in just a moment and see what he has to say. So if you're curious, by the way, if you're on VATSIM aware, go ahead and pop that up for everybody to take a look at it. Look at how busy the East Coast is right now. Woohoo! And if you zoom in ever so closely, you can see me just kind of cruising along here, kind of doing my own thing. Unfortunately, I'm holding my mouse here, and it doesn't tell me anything other than Ike is in control. This, by the way, started right at 7 o'clock, so this is why it's so crowded. I am so glad we're not landing right at Charlotte. That would be such a nightmare. Luckily, like I said, for us, we're landing right up here, so we get to stay away. But I promise you, they're going to give us a lot to do way before there. Simon says it's a 500-mile tourist road that follows the ridge of the mountain chain. That is so awesome. I like how you call it a tourist road. We call it a scenic route. That's excellent. So we're going to hope that it's Ike, and we hope we got it right the first time. I'm going to give him a call when I'm about a half an hour out. We're about to cross into that airspace, by the way. Remember, this airspace is 6,200 feet tall. I am presently at 6,500. I'll go ahead and reset my altimeter. It's good. So we get to watch the airspace go by. As a matter of fact, it looks like somebody, he's got the right idea. Notice he's got a Cessna 208. So what he's probably going to do is take off here, and he's going to fly over into Charlotte. So he has about a half of an hour flight. Ah, that's so clever. Definitely going to have to check that out. Thanks, Simon. And like I said, we're just going to kind of cruise. But notice Appalachia is like everywhere. In 2 seconds, it's going to be so flat, you're not going to know what happened. And like I said, we'll actually come down in altitude because this cloud region is supposed to go down as we get closer to it as well. Wish I could just make them out there. Looks like a little bumpy, little bumpy, little bumpy. Now, there's one of the flying clubs near to me that I was looking to join, and they're thinking of a Bonanza or a Saratoga. And I think it's kind of interesting because it's like a Bonanza that I might actually get to fly. This is
155, contact, line approach, 127.9, have a good night.
127.9, see you next time,
And I was super excited when I read about that until I read that the things are $300 an hour to rent. I'm like, oh, just kidding, just kidding. All right, we're going to be crossing right over the tip top of here. One thing I would like to do is be able to identify how far into Charlotte's airspace I am. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to take the VOR station that's at the middle of Charlotte. It's a frequency of 11500, and I'm just going to go ahead and dial that in so that I can keep monitoring on it the whole flight. We go 115, I said 00. Go ahead and swap that over. And I heard a ding. Oh, I know what the ding is. So, in case anybody's curious what the ding was, They're just giving us a heads up saying there's an exam going at Washington, D.C. Center right now. So if we were a mean person, we could go fly up to Washington, D.C. and give these guys like a really, really tough thing. But that would be mean. We're not going to do that.
Atlanta Center, good evening, Keller 111, flight level 360.
Canadian 111 Atlanta Center, welcome aboard.
One of the toughest things is you try to tell a story to the person next to you, and every 5 seconds you have to stop talking because you get called again. All right, we're going to give him a call. 132975 is Atlanta Center. 132975. We're less than a half an hour away. It's probably a good one. All right, here we go. Atlanta Center, Red 64.
Red.
Atlanta Center, Red 64 is at 6,500, just shy of Kilo Alpha Victor Lima. We're looking to get flight following into Kilo Juliet Kilo Quebec Foxtrot, Concord Regional.
Red 64, contact Atlanta Center 124.37.
.37, Red 64. Thanks for your help. All right, so they gave us the instruction. I told you we get the wrong frequency, but it's all right. 124.37. Notice there's no 37. All right, let's give it a second. Ready for the stressful part? 132.675. 13437. 13437. Just trying to figure out what frequency they actually handed us off to. 134.375. 375. Ah, yep, we're good. Atlanta Center, Red 64.
Who's calling?
Atlanta Center, Red 64.
Red 64, go ahead.
Atlanta Center, Red 64 is at 6,500 feet. We're just southeast of Kilo Alpha Victor Lima. We're looking to get some flight following into Concord Regional, just northeast of Charlotte.
Red 64, Atlanta Center, Roger, squawk 2075.
2075, Red 64. So now what he's doing is he's basically looking directly at our his big radar map with the 600 people on it right now, and he's trying to find this little teeny tiny one in Asheville. And fingers crossed that he's able to identify it. As soon as I start talking, he's got to start telling me to do things. Let's test it. Let's test it. No, I guess we're okay. One thing I do want to do, though, is I want to get the next frequency ready to go, because we're going to be there in like 15 minutes, and that's not a lot of time to get your radio set up, trust me. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at our little diagram here. Go back to my little desktop. We know Charlotte Center is, it's Cleveland Center, I'm sorry. We want to go down, approaches departure. There we go. 136150 is most likely what it's.
64 radar contact, 5 south of the Sugarloaf VOR, 6,600. Proceed on course, maintain VFR.
Proceed on course, maintain VFR. Red 64, thanks. All right, sweet. So you said maintain VFR, which means altitude our discretion. We can choose what we want to do. Usually, if you're going to change the altitude, though, give them a heads up. But anyway, we need to go get our next frequency all lined up here. It's going to be 126150. The other thing we need to do is we need to check the weather at our particular destination. We'll get that all ready to go. Trust me, these things happen so quickly. So Simon asks, does everyone on VATSIM have rubbish mics, or is it an added effect? The answer is yes. I know that's not a good answer, but that's a good answer, trust me. The reality is it actually adds scratchiness to it. You can disable that in the settings if you don't like it. I like it because I feel like it makes things a little bit more realistic for me, so I'm okay with that. All right, let's go ahead and get all the weather and get ready to land this thing, because we're going to be on the ground a lot sooner than you think. 133675. We're going to go 222, 123675. We're going to go ahead and turn that on. And get ready to write. Here we go.
Visibility, tree. Sky condition, clear. Temperature, 26. Dew point, 10. Altimeter tree 0.07. ILS runway 20 in use. Landing and departing runway 20. VFR aircraft say direction of flight. All aircraft read back hold short instructions. Advise controller on initial contact you have Echo.
That's a problem.
Concord Airport information, Echo 2200 Zulu. Line 218 at 5. Visibility, tree. Sky condition, clear. Temperature, 26. Dew point.
Okay, that's a problem. So for those of you who are like, what do you mean it's a problem? Visibility is 3. So if you'd probably caught when they were talking, they were mentioning that ILS 20 is in use. So this puts us in a really, really bad spot. We're looking to either divert, or we're basically going to have to go ahead and attempt to find another place, or we can ask for special VFR. But the problem with special VFR, though, is it can get us in and out. It can't get us safely on the ground. So I'm a little nervous, but we're going to have to go contact the ATIS at Charlotte. Maybe there's a weird discrepancy or there's something wrong with the sensor, but welcome to Real World Problems 101. This is what happens when you do live videoing here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go check Charlotte's as well to see if Charlotte has slightly better weather for us. I kind of get the feeling that we're going to get kind of busted, but we'll find out what happens when we get there. We still got 15 minutes to get there, so let's find out what happens. Let's see, the ATIS code for Charlotte. I'm looking it up now for anybody who wants to follow along. 121150. So we're going to go 121, set this to 150. This is why automatic pilot is the greatest invention ever, because you can just sit here and do stuff while you do stuff.
Charlotte Airport information, Quebec 22000 Zulu. Wind 207 at 12. Visibility 10.
How come they have 10-mile visibility?
Clear. Temperature 23. Dew point 10. Altimeter tree 0.16. ILS runway 18 right ILS.
Press 64, contact Atlanta Center 132 point nine seven.
Landing and departing runway 18 right runway 18.
132 975 Red 64. Now I have to concentrate. Atlanta Center, Red 64, 6,500. Big Wasp is correct. It is minimum VFR. But they also... I missed it.
Red 64 Atlanta Center, the Charlotte Center is 3014.
3014, copy.
KLM 254 Atlanta Center, roger. Break, Blue Streak 5233, descend via the Phillips C 3 arrival, Charlotte landing south. The Charlotte Center is 3014.
So...
Send via the Flips 3 arrival and 3014 for Blue Streak 5233.
This is fun. Okay, I was just told the sunset is amazing. Fix it, fix it, fix it! Now we're going to have to light this place up like a Christmas tree then. That's what it actually looks like. Beautiful. Oh man, that is gorgeous. Oh, look at this! It's like the sky is on fire. One thing I'm tempted to ask real quickly is just mention, do you remember how we just discovered that there was a difference between the two ATISs? This might be a good time to give them a quick call and just say, can I get a visibility check? Because I'm getting contradicting ATIS information. You know, just quickly do a little kind of friendly little ask kind of a thing so they could do it. The problem is, remember, I'm talking to Atlanta Center right now. They don't really see what the folks over here at Charlotte see. So as a result, it's not going to do us much good. So we're just going to have to keep on going and cross our fingers. One thing I do want to start thinking about, though, is descent. We're sitting up here at 6,500 feet. We got to get down to about, 2,500 feet.
Jet 1346 Atlanta Center. Need to mean your altitude. I can give you a level 340, level 360.
Say it, push at 346.
I didn't hear what he said.
WestJet 3460. I need to make an amendment to your altitude. Can you would you rather have level 340 or level 360?
Follow 360, push at 1346.
WestJet 1346, climb maintain level 360.
Climb maintain 360, push at 346.
Nice. So the one thing you don't get is the tremendous amount of pressure you're feeling in your ear because of those really heavy earmuffs that you normally have to wear. And you're also missing out on the fact that that comes through as a lot.
64, contact short approach 120.15.
Contact shot approach on 120.15, red 64.
Correction, 120.5.
120.5, red 64. Thanks.
American 2815, descend via the Phelpsy 3 arrival, Charlotte landing south, the short altimeter is 3014.
Roger, hold the sun via the Phelpsy 3, American 2815.
Now, did you notice the people talking in the background?
Yeah, you're 5x5 now.
Charlotte approach, red 64 is at 6,500.
VAT 64 Charlotte approach, hello. The Lincoln altimeter 3014.
3014, red 64.
Walker 845, any chance for 18 left? We're parking at the GA ramp that side.
845, let me coordinate it.
Thanks.
So now we're in the airspace of Charlotte, so everything's about to get chaos, because remember how many people take part in these events. One thing we do want to do is we get the correct frequency there. We're probably going to be in 134650. So I'm going to go ahead and get that kind of loaded up in advance, so that we can do that nice and safely once we get a little bit closer. I hate how this thing only goes down. 134, what was the frequency here? Again, it's nice to have the chart right in front of you because it makes it much easier to do this stuff. 134, it is going to be, I think I just said 67, right? 65. 134, 65. But like I said, Charlotte approach is probably going to handle most of us the whole way down, so I'm not going to worry about it. But what I am going to do is go double check to see if the weather got any better since we got here. Let's take a listen. I love flying at night. Of course, what did it do is it got rid of my...
Airport information, Quebec 23000 Zulu. Wind 207 at 12. Visibility 10. Sky condition clear. Temperature 23.
Sky conditions are clear. I'm so confused. Let's go listen to the one over at, like I said, the airport. Concord. Well, it helps if you get the right frequency, yes. You're right. You guys just want everything.
Information Romeo 23000 Zulu.
I know this is the non-exciting...
Airport information, Echo 2300 Zulu. Wind 207 at 12. Visibility 10.
Yes!
Temperature.
Crisis averted. All right, folks, so
Information Romeo.
So if you probably just heard a second ago, you heard the fact that we do have enough visibility. So like I was warning you guys a few seconds ago, this is exactly what happens in the real world. You check the weather one place, you check the weather 6 feet down the thing, and you get a completely different rating. And it just gives you a pretty tight idea of how that could be so different in the real world. I'm actually going to go ahead and increase our time of day just a teeny tiny bit. I'll go to kind of dusk there, just to have a little bit better view. One thing we got to think about now is coming back down. I'm looking right now, we've got about 16 minutes 41, 6,500, 500 feet. That takes 3 miles per 5. Let's see, 65, that's going to be 13 times 5. That's, like I said, 65, 13 nautical miles out. We have 48 nautical miles out. So yeah, we got a little bit of time before we have to start coming down. So yes, welcome to the, I call it the sexy part of flying, which is trying to figure out what you're supposed to do halfway through the flight. But no matter how much you plan, things always come up every single time that you do it. Big Wasp was just mentioning he's starting to work on his night rating. I love flying at night. It doesn't make for good live streams because people watch on, if you actually have your little cell phone out and you're watching outdoors, you can't see anything. So it's one of those things I don't like. But in the real world, the wind is so calm, you can actually go places. Speaking of going places, if I poke outside super quick, you probably notice the fact that if we look out right now, by the way, beautiful formation flying. If you look out now, everything went from crazy Appalachia like we saw a few minutes ago, and now everything gets progressively flatter. As a matter of fact, it's gotten so flat that you can actually see normal terrain, and you got everybody's things. And we're coming up on a very large group of lakes as well, which you're going to be seeing up here on the right. You ever get the feeling I'm on the wrong frequency? I always feel like I am. Charlotte. Oh, by the way, I was going to do that before they started talking to me. All right, let's get everything set up then. ADF, I did not want that. Never mind. We want to go to PFT. We want to go switch over to our DME. Yeah. See how this thing says that I'm 34 nautical miles away right now? This is to the center of the large Charlotte airspace. If you folks remember a little bit earlier, let me go ahead and grab my little chart again so you can do it. Might as well be slightly educational. So if you guys remember when we were first coming in here, I was saying we're about here, by the way. This airspace is about 30 nautical miles. The way I can tell that is because there's a DME right here that I can measure the 30-mile circular, which means a lot easier for us. What we should have done is fly into Lincoln County, but I had to pick the tricky one. Oh well. But again, I just wanted to share that with you. And apparently we're about to cross over a lot of very, very, very tall towers here. They're 2,700 feet, so we really can't start our descent until we get well within the space. Call it about 20 nautical miles on the DMA. So that should be pretty cool. Not bad at all. Good time, by the way, if you have not already done so, time to switch fuel tanks. Like I said, whenever you do this, go flip on that fuel pump real quick. Come down here. It makes a sad noise. And we're all set. Cool. What are we doing, by the way? Can't do this in the real plane. We're doing fine. But notice how much fuel I burnt. Almost a quarter of the left side of the airplane. Now I have to go ahead and start working on the right side. Nice. Now I notice we're starting to drift a little bit to the right here. I wonder if that's a function of the wind or it's a function of something else. Speaking of wind, let's take a quick look. Oh, that's why. We got a little bit of wind coming directly from behind us. Now you know I came from the west. Oh, it is so pretty. Let's see, Simon, that is some gorgeous formation flying right there. I'm trying to read what it says on the side of the plane, but I can't. Speaking of which, everybody, did anybody get a chance to fly the Junkers 52 that came out on Tuesday?
Walker 845, turn right heading 090, vectors for the arrival, descend to maintain 5,000.
5,000, 090, Walker 845.
Traffic. I don't see it. I'm just looking and noticing right here. I got somebody sneaking up on me. It's none of you folks. It's got to be somebody from VATSIM. I do not see them, though. Oh, well.
845, you can expect a visual for 18 left.
Walker 845, 810 left, thanks.
I love that, Simon. GSDSD. I was trying to read it off the side. All right, folks. It's time to start making...
Before cleared into the Charlotte class level airspace, maintained VFR below 3,000.
Cleared into the Charlotte airspace. Maintain at or below 3,000. Red 64. Down to 3,000.
Short departure, American 1312, climbing through 2,700 feet.
American 1312, Charlotte departure, radar contact, proceed direct, Bob, climb maintain 16,000.
Proceed direct, Bob, climb 16,000, American 1312.
That's the thing I love about these events is you get folks from all over. We were going to do China today, but that would have been scary. I don't think I could. I could do it, but that's scary. That's really scary. All right, so for those of you who are keeping track of everything so far, the traffic that shows up in the G1000, Dan, usually it's only the VATSIM traffic. As you probably noticed, there's 100 people around me, but the only people who appear are going to be this guy. We also have this chap coming up here on the right. Now, if you were normally in the traffic mode, I'm trying to think of the best way to describe this. If you were in all players and you're in regular mode, normal people's traffic will also show up here. But I'm noticing, like right now, somebody's creeping up on me really, really fast. And in the real plane, your ADS-B starts going, traffic, traffic. But I do not see them for the life of me. Oh, boy. Uh-oh. That doesn't improve my confidence a little bit. Yep, I'd almost say we're going to run into a collision. So in about 2 seconds, if they're at the same altitude as us, which honestly, I cannot see them. Maybe one of you can, but I definitely cannot see them. Oh boy, that's not good. If they are co-altitude, we're going to get a call in 2 seconds, and they're going to tell this guy, hey, there's some traffic right off your nose. Be careful. Because if I didn't know any better, I'd say, look at that. Zoom in a little bit. That's dangerous. Oh boy. Or is that one of you guys? No, it's not one of you. Unless Tangeray is also on the VATSIM, you should not be able to show up. Yep, I'm about to get crashed into. Uh-oh. Unless you folks can see him. Oh well, let's make the best of what we got with what we have. All right, we got to get ourselves all the way down to 2,500 though. Because he said at or below 3,000, so we're up way too high. So I'm actually going to start slowing down here. We're going to be at our destination in less than 10 minutes. The runway we're going to be looking for is basically going to be a right turn. They're probably going to give us right traffic. I'm going to go ahead and pull up a runway diagram for everybody real quick, just so that we have it kind of handy. Concord Regional Airport diagram. I'll go ahead and call it up so everybody can see it, so you can study before we get down to the ground. It is the most glorious, cheesy, easy runway, though. You're going to love that. All right, let me call up the PDF again, just to kind of share with everybody. Doing some real-world flying today, but hey, there's nothing wrong with that. Let's go ahead and check this out. Go ahead and switch it over to the mode that allows everybody to see. Go ahead and switch it to this. Boop. So you can see we're going to be arriving on runway 20 here. In the Bonanza, I'm probably going to end up getting off at Echo, and we're probably going to end up going right over here. For those of you on VATSIM, you just call for the General Aviation Terminal. They'll probably say right on Echo, left on Alpha, right on Alpha 7, and then just proceed to the General Aviation. If we're lazy, we'll roll all the way down to Delta, take a left on Alpha, and then come over on Alpha 5 and park right here. For those of you like you join us in the little picture, I will meet you right here at the General Aviation Tower, kind of pointing this way. Like I said, I'll probably go ahead and sign out before we actually hit that point. But again, all the critical information that you're going to need is going to be located all right here. All right. Still coming down here. Distance is 26.3 nautical miles. And the Cessna 26.3 is like, no problem. In this plane, it's like, geez, I'm going to be there anytime.
That 64 fighting 080 vectors for airspace.
080 vectors for Air Force, Red 64. I knew that was going to happen. I was really hoping we could get in under 3,000 right before we got to it, but it looks like they got us first. Ah! Oh well. There's traffic right here. Let's see if I can see it. There should be somebody right in here. I'm looking at the little VATSIM map here and cheating. So somebody should be crossing us any minute now. And I'm playing the Where Is He game. And in the real world, by the way, this is the hardest sport you will play, is fly the plane and find the traffic and navigate and communicate at the same time. He's out there. I just don't see him. Because he's literally cutting us off. Maybe is he above? Ah, hate this. But it's so much fun. All right, let's do it. Yep, he's going to cut us off. I'm waiting for the traffic call. Here it comes. Maybe not. I'm disappointed. One thing you might want to do, though, is remember this magical magenta line of safety. We need to make sure that we get back to that line of safety. So one of the cool things you can do in the real one is you go like this to the flight plan. You go over to this, you press the direct button, and then you press enter as soon as they tell us to proceed on course. So we're already pre-armed and ready to go. Just a fun little trick. I'm going to check the weather for the 50th time because that's how paranoid I am now.
Concord Airport information. Foxtrot 2200 Zulu. Wind calm. Visibility 10. Sky condition clear. Temperature 2.10. Altimeter 30.14. ILS runway 20 in use.
20. Notice the wind now is completely gone. That's awesome. All right, let's see how traffic's doing. Simon's doing good. Reaper MD's out there. Wax Fountain's still joining us. Fast Ted's way to the south there, but that's all right. XX Shadow, welcome back. I missed you from before. Online Gamer, I don't think you're one of ours. And Lethal XLSX, I don't think you're one of ours either. And I don't mean that negatively. I'm just saying I don't think usually you come along with us. That's all.
American 1312, contact Atlanta Center 125160. What's that?
So the traffic is just passing over.
5.62, American 1312, bye-bye.
Traffic is just passing over directly above us. So now what we're going to do is, if I'm looking at the diagram correctly, basically, let me zoom out a little bit so I can show you what I'm thinking. So if you take a look at the traffic diagram, do you see how we're in this inner slice? So what he's going to try to do for us is, rather than cutting off this middle slice like we were going to originally, he's probably going to take us up over the lake, and then he's going to take us up and around and pop us down here. Now what's super cool here is everybody else you see are all on VATSIM. Look at Charlotte Airport. I'm so glad that's not us right now. That could be a little chaotic, but again, I like these kind of things. This makes it fun. Zoom in a little tiny bit here. Now, I love on the nice one, you can put up the runway diagram right here. If you had your tablet with you, you could have your runway diagram all ready to go, but like I said, I already have it on the other screen. All right, taking a peek. Haha, stall strip, old school. Taking a look behind us, Simon's sneaking up on the left there. Excellent. Look at these gorgeous lakes here. Now, this is Westport, South Carolina, for those of you who are curious. All right, there should be traffic on our right at 4,000 feet. That's him. So he's on VATSIM and he's on all players right now. This guy right here? What? Yes, okay, so he's one of ours as well. We solved the mystery. I win. And it looks like there's traffic coming in the opposite direction too, which is this one here. I do not see that one for the life of me. I'm guessing he's a little bit higher. It says on the computer he is at
1312, you
5,000 feet. I don't see him. Nope, that's a star. Oh well, not gonna worry about it. This bothers me though, because that is not he. He's got to be, like I said, right here.
Walk 845, turn left, heading 070.
070, walk 845.
Now this is super cool because he's sending us over the lake for noise purposes. Oh man, look at the size of this lake. Could you imagine doing some water skiing or tubing on something along these lines? Oh man, I love that. It's so cool. Let's go get the water planes out again, right? So next week, just to kind of give you a preview, is we're kind of moving a little bit closer. Like I said, we're about 4 or 5 minutes away from our destination. We're going to be taking a look at some stuff with the Junkers. It's a pretty neat plane if you haven't had a chance to check it out yet. I definitely want to do a VATSIM with it, or I'm not a VATSIM. I'd like to do a live stream with it. You do not need to go purchase it, though. Like I said, anything that's roughly Cessna speed could easily keep up with it. It's just going to be kind of a unique experience. Also, if anybody has any recommendations as far as future places to take us, certainly throw them out in the chat.
64, turn right, heading 120.
120, red 64. Got it. All right, so like I was saying, if anybody has any suggestions as to where we go, I feel like we need to do something in Germany at some point. I also feel like we need to do something like in the Middle East again. We also haven't done India yet, or like Sri Lanka or anything along those lines. We've done Vietnam, we've done Australia, although if we're going to do Australia again, I'd love to do the West Coast, because I don't think I've ever actually flown over the West Coast of Australia. So that'll be kind of a neat opportunity as well. So I wish I had my little 3D, like my real world cam real quick so you can see what my notebook looks like. Because I write down absolutely everything they say to us just so I have a record of it. But if you take a look at how good this air traffic controller is. He's putting us on a right base for runway 20. He's just going to square us right off. Let me zoom in a little bit. See how he's kind of getting us all squared. He's going to say turn right heading blah, 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 maintain da-da-da-da-da, contact da-da-da-da-da. Well, he's not going to say that, but I think you get the general idea. Fingers crossed. All right, let's see if we can work the heading out. So this is runway 20, so he's going to be telling us to take a right to, let's call it a heading of 190, report runway in sight or something like that. Fingers crossed, fingers crossed. All right, this is a good time to check to make sure the airplane's in good shape. I definitely should be on the right fuel tank. Double checking on the floor. I am in the right fuel tank. I am in the right fuel tank. My landing light is still turned on. I didn't shut it off from before. I got my mixture set correctly, my propeller set correctly. Just kind of a mental check. In the real plane, you want to go ahead and make sure you shut off the air conditioner. I'm going to crack the cowl flaps a little bit to start cooling the plane off. Just double check, double check, double check. We want to set the altimeters about 500 more times to make sure they read exactly what they told us it was. And again, we can check that in a minute as well. All right, so this is the hard part. You sit here, you fly for 45 minutes. You've been concentrating so hard on just keeping the plane in a safe spot. Then they tell you it's time to land. You're like, duh. Happens in the real world way too often. Man, that guy is 38,000 feet. Holy smokes. It's a beautiful, beautiful night, though. We are so lucky in that weather. I thought we were going to have to do a special ILS approach. We got so lucky. Can't think of the last time I've been to South Carolina. I fly over South Carolina to get to Atlanta once in a while, but that's about it. Victor Romeo Golf Oscar. There's the runway. Good time to go ahead and get down to traffic pattern altitude. We're looking at 1,700 feet for traffic pattern altitude, so let's go ahead and head on down. We're still maintain VFR at or below 3,000, so we are allowed to do this.
That 64, the Charlotte Airport is 2 o'clock and 6 miles. Do you have in sight?
Runway in sight, red 64.
That 64, enter right base, runway 20, report turning final.
Turn right base for runway 20, report final, red 64. So he's basically making me do the right base, but we're already here, so we just have to call final. All right, we got to slow down. One of the great things about a Bonanza, you need to slow down in a hurry. Charlotte Center, Red 64 is turning right onto final for 20.
At 64, wind calm, runway 20, clear to land.
Runway 20, clear to land, Red 64. And I thought I was going to have to do an ILS landing. Ah, that was great. I'm just glad that they were able to accommodate us tonight, because one of the things they could have done to us, too, is they said, oh, no VFR, go sign on to something else. And it's like, aw, but we're special, and I like VFR in general aviation. It's fun, but you know what I mean. All right, let's put this thing on the ground. Our picture, by the way, like I said, we'll go take it right by the little general aviation ramp right off of Foxtrot. All right, we're going to do our Gunfulls checks.
845, turn left heading 340.
Left 340, Walker 845.
Got a little bit of crosswind. They said there was no wind. All right, so we're going to make sure our gas is set correctly. Our undercarriage is down. Our mixture is set correctly. Our propeller is set correctly. Our flaps are set correctly. Our lights are set correctly. And our speed is a little slow. I feel like somebody's sneaking up on me. I can hear it. I swear somebody is right behind me. They're going to sneak up on me. Ah, paranoia. He's on my left now. I'm just going insane. Oh well. Aren't you glad we didn't fly into Atlanta? Could you imagine how much work that would have been? By the way, co-pilots are the greatest things ever. This is what my flight instructor says the funniest joke he said all night. Thanks, Bernoulli. I really appreciate that. We are so close to 20,000, it's giving me nightmares. Excuse me. Oh, yes! Haha, that was excellent. And I'm just going to sail right on over.
Okay, 845, contact Charlotte approach 127.7.
Say the frequency again, Walker 845.
Okay, 845, contact Charlotte approach 127.7.
27.7, Walker 845.
I got lucky that time, Ellie.
Red 64, welcome to Concord, right when able, off to the ramp.
Right when able, off to the ramp, Red 64. So he gets the delayed information, so by the time he said right one...
Departure, good evening, Citation 364, Charlie Bravo, 4,000, climbing 8,000, runway heading.
I believe that guy's a radio DJ.
364, Charlie Bravo, Charlotte departure, radar contact.
Interesting. Charlotte Center, Red 64 is clear of the runway. Request taxi to the general aviation ramp.
Red 64, off on the ramp, have a nice day.
Off on the ramp, have a great night. Thanks for your services. Got it! Ha-ha! We're out!
364, Charlie Bravo, proceed direct to Lils, maintain 16,000.
All right, we are clear. If anybody wants to join me, we're going to be right over here tonight.
6,000, Citation 364, Charlie Bravo.
All right, we're going to go meet over here if you'd like to join us for a picture. We are now clear. I'm going to go ahead and sign out from VATSIM. And bam, we're back in the normal world again. Now we can do silly things like fly into the ground, but after a flight like that, I have a really tough time of doing something destructive by my plane. That was actually some pretty decent flying. All right, I'm going to go swing around right here. Anybody likes to join, feel free. We'll go park next to this guy in a Balerio who apparently thinks these things are still in style. I was actually at an airport a couple weeks ago, and one of the fun things is a bunch of people showed up in air coupes, and they were all freaking out because the air coupes, you know, basically the radio was essentially glued to their yoke because they didn't come with electronics inside it originally. All right, so if you'd like to get in a picture, come by. I'll wait a few moments. Go ahead and do it. Oh, boy. Oh man, that was a good flight. So hopefully you guys, like I said, as always, enjoyed. That was I like that. That was I like having to work. Like I don't mind like having to do all that kind of juggling and stuff like that. Don't hit the truck. I didn't hit the truck. Is that what I think it is? My brain is not processing the shit. Okay, it was a tooth. That explains it. By the way, good call with the flashing of the lights there. I think that's kind of fun. Go ahead and take a quick little picture. Anybody else coming in? Wax fountain? No, I think we got everybody. Take a quick little picture here. Ready? Go. All right, folks. I always like to get to the very, very end and ask, does anybody have any specific questions or requests or anything along those lines? I love the green that you would like to do. I'll take a couple minutes. Meanwhile, while you're doing that, I'll go ahead and get myself into a nice, nasty situation here. That was good. I like that. Some of you will join us on VATSIM, by the way. It's going to happen. You get used to it. Now, one of the funniest things that's happened to me recently is I had a student come to me after a live stream and said, yeah, do you always land that badly? And I'm like, oh, come here, you little... No, it was actually pretty funny. I'm just glad, like I said, anybody can enjoy. All right, let's get dangerous. You. That's the sound of victory, right? Yee-hee! Oh no! Oh no! Just kidding. Have a great night, everybody. And excellent. Have a great night, everybody. And as always, enjoy.